behind me is cleaned up. The thing is I'm going to get all this mess cleaned up. I'm going to rebuild the castle on the table, and I'm going to put out all the minifigs to show how it kind of looks in different displays of how I'm showing it in conventions. Now, it won't be 100% exact because I move a lot of the minifigures around each time, so it's not the same scenes over and over. But on to the new project. Everyone knows I'm a huge military guy. I absolutely love the military builds. I love the vehicles. I love all the history that comes with it. And I love all of the stuff that we've seen in the movies and just kind of how everything is portrayed. And with that being said, I present to you Battle of the Bulge. Next year will be the 80th anniversary, so it only seemed fitting. So I contacted Dan, hit him up to see what he thought about teaming up to knock out this Battle of the Bulge mock. And to my surprise, he said yes. I can get it done by next year, right? So, of course, this will be at World War Brick in 2025. I'm hoping that it lasts that long and makes it up there. That's a 15.5-hour drive. It will be displayed 2 other places before then, so I'm going to be able to work out some kinks, but I hope this build has a lot of different stuff that I've not tried before and new techniques. So if you follow me on Instagram or listen to anything I say on here, I've been talking about this for a little bit, and a couple of the pictures are already posted under the community tab to kind of show some of the buildings I have been working on because I have been digitally designing this. Now, once I get all this mess cleaned up, I will kind of start building it. I want to build the church first, and I guess it'll give me a backdrop to start on some of these videos and stuff to lead into this, to show vehicles to where it's just not on this blank table, to where I have a little bit of contrast in the background. Now, the castle is 6 32 by 32 base plates by 11, and I'm going to try to exceed that. The way this is going to work, and I really hope it works, is I am going to build a huge part of Bastogne first. And I'm going to lay that out. I want that to be somewhere around like 7 by 6, maybe 8 by 6. Once those base plates are built, I am going to take those off the table and place them on another table. I will continue to build the rest of it, the complete Ardennes forest. Now, I want it to be, of course, the 6 base plates wide to match up, but I'm going to extend this a couple more base plates. Instead of having this mock 6 by 11, when this is all together, I want this to be around 6 by 15. Now, it might increase to 16 or 17 depending on how all this land plays out. I'm not really sure yet because I haven't started designing any of that. I wanted to start with the buildings in Bastogne, of course. That's going to be pretty much, it's not going to be the most complicated because there's a lot of trees in this, and everyone knows that everyone in the Lego community can't really stand trees. It's hard to build. They're hard to especially build to where they're going to be transportable, and this thing's going to have to be transportable. One of the other reasons I really wanted to add Bastogne on this is not only is it a huge part of what happened in World War II in Belgium, I think it is also kind of going to give a really good look compared to the rest of that white, because I am going to have to order a ton of white pieces. Another thing that goes along with this is the forest wasn't flat, so I don't want this to be flat. So it's not just going to be a bunch of flat pieces. If you've seen the castle, you know I like terrain. I don't mind terrain. What next can I do besides the castle? I'm going to step it up one. So there's going to be some more hills. There's going to be a lot more slopes. There's going to be a lot more curves. Plus, I'm going to be adding trenches to this. There's foxholes. I've got to add some mortar holes. There's going to be a lot to this. So not only am I going to start by building this even bigger and trying to add even more detail than was in the castle, I'm going to try to make a lot of this accurate, and I am going to put a lot of detail in this. I want this to be the biggest and best thing I've ever built. At the end of this video, I'm going to commit to something that I'm not really sure I could possibly do, but you know what? I'm going to try it. There are about 15 purchases I've made for this so far. Of course, a lot of it's been off of Brickmania. I've got a lot of white pieces so far, like tiles and stuff, off of Bricklink and from the Lego store. I did get my first order from United Bricks in today. It's the first order I've ever placed, and it actually came in about 2 hours ago. So I'll be adding that to this video also. And there's not really very many minifigure choices out there. So I have done a lot of buying some torsos, stuff like that, the sticker. I've also got the Brickmania just released the white German winter infantry soldier. I will be buying a bunch of those coming. They should be here sometime next week, sometime this week. I'm not really sure. I think I just placed the order if you're watching this like a day ago. So I'm hoping they'll be there sometime soon. And these will hopefully keep trickling. I'm going to try to buy as many as I can. The battle had a lot of soldiers in it, and I'm thinking I'm going to do somewhere around like maybe 120 on each side.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
And of course, I got tons of pieces from Brick Arms, like some stall helms, some M1 steel pots, all the weapons I could think of, just anything that I know I could use right off the bat. But as I'm building this and as I'm buying these pieces, I am slowly leaning towards more and more detail, which means the Brick Arms that are just single molded don't really do it for me anymore. I want these all perfect calibered. I'm going to buy as many of this stuff as I can. As you can imagine, Brickmania dropped the perfect caliber MP40. I've definitely bought my share of those. I've got a bunch of printed stall helms. I'm going to try to make this, like I said, as detailed as possible. Now, all the minifigures that are going to be completely like wounded or dead or anything like that in the field are all going to be stickered, just because I feel like there's no point in buying expensive minifigs for them not to be shown. They're just going to be laying there, probably on their stomachs or back anyway, so it just doesn't matter that much to me, and it'll also help me keep up with what minifigure needs to go where. On this build, one of the first buildings I wanted to do was the Church of Saint Pierre in Bastogne. Now, if you've seen the show Band of Brothers, it did play a huge part in that movie. It depicted that it was used as an aid station, and this whole entire build is going to have nothing to do with the show, but I do want to include some things because that show does give a really good look into Battle of the Bulge, and there's not very many movies or anything else that kind of show in detail what that movie done. So I do want to add, of course, a couple scenes from that, and I do want this church to be kind of slightly based off of that, but not totally. And there's a lot of stuff I've went into as far as research. Now, this is what the church is going to look like, and I always say this, but the actual build will be a lot more detailed than this. It will feature much more holes in the walls, the ceiling, and a bunch of illegal techniques that just can't be done in studio. I'll be changing a lot of these bricks to different plates and different elements to show texture and kind of change a lot of stuff going on with it. And I really hate to say this, but it's going to kind of be hard to show full interiors on this building. A lot of these buildings will have like blowouts in the wall, and I'll create like little pockets and rooms to show what's going on in behind it, especially if there's like a wall caved out. I'll definitely have that detailed, but not all of these buildings are going to be fully interior. There's just no point of it. It'll be a waste of time. I want to save that detail for other places. Now, these buildings are really hard to get references for, so one of the things I've been doing is using a combination of pics that I can find throughout the internet that are from 1944 when the battle was going on, and using Google Maps to simply walk down the street and see what the buildings look like now. I know what they look like now doesn't necessarily mean that's what they look like then. A lot of these buildings were bombed and just completely destroyed, but it gives me a really good layout to know what things look like, how the level of the world is over there, and it's going to be really the only thing I've got to go off of. Now, the pictures that I found from Battle of the Bulge have came from anywhere on the internet. I've actually went to some local libraries and other bookstores around here, and I've purchased books for these. I really want to get as much detail and as much accuracy as possible, because I know the military and the historian guides and all this other stuff are just going to eat me alive if it isn't just perfect. But with that being said, detail will not be missed. Now, it could be a little inaccurate, and in the end, I think I've got a pretty good idea of using both references, combine what it could look like, and there's a lot of stuff that I just won't be able to replicate. I do want to go ahead and commit that every window and every door in this entire build will all be brick built. I don't want them to be anything that's just a simple door or a simple window Lego piece. Now, some of these will have like a small window frame, especially the ones with the arches up top, but mostly everything else will be brick built and or plate built, however you want to look at it, just because I want this to stick out that much more. I want this to be that much better. But now that I've showed you this, and now you've got an insight on what this looks like and what this is going to do and could be, I want to go ahead and commit now and try to say that I want this not to be the best World War II mock, because that kind of throws it out there a lot, and I don't know if I could ever beat that. There's some out there that are really, really good. But I want to go ahead and commit to saying that I want this to be, and I think it will be, the best Battle of the Bulge mock that there's ever been. And now that you've heard me say that, if you want to keep up with the process on this, don't forget to hit that like button. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Let me know what you think with this. I really want this to be epic. I want this to be big. And with me, of course, using a lot of the Brickmania stuff, there's a huge following out there. I would like to get everybody on my side with this. But thank you for watching. Peace.